I don't expect people, to stick around for just pretty much hearing the same thing, like, just that everything is probably going to go down. And
Yeah. Yeah, we saw it coming though, didn't we?
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah, we
just
saw it.
feel I just feel today kind of feels very like we've seen the sentiment turn, but I kind of feel like today, because of that drop, it's
Mm.
kind of like hitting a lot more people, and
Yeah.
in a bigger.
But unfortunately, though, people need to be aware of the macro situation. Jerome Powell is basically at war with risk assets. It's not just crypto. Like, nowhere safe right now, not even bonds.
Yeah, I was doing the Bitcoin analysis, I was just saying that I just feel there isn't strength whatsoever in the market. There isn't new money coming in. Money is more, I think the markets are being more like led by market makers and big whales at the minute, and there isn't really there isn't like enough coming in to sustain the support. There's just it's just like it's not strong. There isn't anything bullish that I even made a tweet today about this, that it doesn't matter, because a lot of people are saying you see those tweets, oh, the March is going to be the catalyst to the new bull market.
Catalyst?
Catalyst.
Yeah.
Or I'm here. Sorry?
It's too obvious so to think like that.
Yeah.
In these markets.
But now I'm
hearing... You have to think back.
Now I'm hearing about ADA and the fork, that this is going to, I'm like, come on now. And obviously the usual XRP and the SEC and that, and you're like, all this means bullshit when there's no money in the market.
Exactly right. Yep. So everybody's like, even the whales, I guess, are taking risk off, and there's no end in sight to the central banks around the world raising interest rates and withdrawing liquidity from the market. So until that turns, until we get some sort of hint of a pivot, I think this continues. You're going to get your bear market rallies from time to time, like we just had one. And they're just perfect opportunities to sell into, I'm bullish on crypto. I'm always going to be bullish, but you have to take into account the macro situation, and it's been like this since pretty much the start of the year. So,
yeah, I was actually
the only place to be right now is the US dollar, and that's the only thing in the bull market right now. And if you look at that chart on the DXY, it's still got plenty of room for more upside. So
yeah, I'll pull that up in a second. I really wanted to. I forgot to do it during the Bitcoin analysis, but I wanted to check the total market cap as well, like just to obviously see how this is shaping up. But it's just crap. Like, I mean, we were talking about like 5 trillion at some point, and you're looking at like we're below 1 trillion at the minute, and
yeah, in the last I think 48 hours, you've seen about 80 billion wiped off the total market cap. That's ridiculous. That's a lot of money.
That's crazy money.
So what that is, that's money from the crypto market being converted back into fiat.
Yeah.
80 billion.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, there's no end in sight really at the moment, but I kind of feel at the moment, like short term, things are a bit oversold at the moment. And on a Monday, typically you do get a lot of counterflow. So, on the weekend, I mean, it's only retail trade. I mean, there's a few whales involved as well, but most of the time it's retail investors that are trading on the weekend. So when you get the dumps on the weekend and on the Monday, usually by Friday, you'll see a pump. And now I'm actually kind of glad we're seeing this kind of red day today, because this pretty much, to me, like once we get to Wednesday and the FOMC meeting and they do the announcement, and I'm pretty sure they'll do 75 basis points. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of a relief rally. So
Yeah, so this is what
because everyone's just pricing it in, you know.
So this is what, because I have Craig here from the Discord, and I'm delighted that he decided to join, because I do like talking and I love people obviously taking part in the streams. But we were talking about Dixie, and this is the chart, and when he was talking about, like, you know, this can totally just keep going, and it can.
Yeah, for sure.
And it totally can. You can see.
Yeah, what's this, the monthly chart or the weekly chart?
I think this is a monthly, because I couldn't fit the weekly on the.
So going back quite a while, so yeah, ripped up to what, 160 at one point. What year was that?
That was 165 even, and that was in 85.
85, yeah. So that was when back. You know who? So the Federal Reserve governor back then, he was cigar smoking, Volkner, I think that's what his name was. He was the guy that raised interest rates all the way up to about 20% back then to fight inflation. So that's why you've got a massive... And so when that happened, so many developing countries went bankrupt because a strong US dollar is really damaging for, like, you know, third world... Well, I don't want to say third world countries, but you know what I mean. Like those countries, like, for example, like Latin American countries, a lot of those countries have to borrow in US dollars. So when the US dollar gets stronger, they basically have to print their own local currency to pay back the debt, and so that devalues their local currency. So I don't think we'll see 160 on the Dixie, but we could definitely see 120. We can't rule out 120.
We can, but at the same time, this kind of where we are right now, I can see this being a bit of a resistance at the same time, because you have this level here, 73, you have your 74, and that kind of was a retest, and again your resistance here had few, you know, so this could be some sort of pivot point for the minute relief. At the same time, you can just rip again, and I mean, sorry.
The key level to watch, definitely. Only thing that I can counter that with, though, is back then was at 1970s. So the Dixie is actually weighted against the euro about 60%. Okay? Back then, in the 70s, I don't think there even was a euro. So the US dollar basket would have been completely different back then.
Yeah, totally different economy as well.
Yeah, but you're right, though. There is a key level, and we definitely need to watch it. But from what I can see there, if we break through that, we might make a lower high compare. So what was that, the early 2000s there? That was about 120, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we might actually get up to that point, but maybe make a lower high slightly and then come down. Because, I mean, if it gets up to there, it's going to be devastating. Really, it is. That's going to throw a lot of shit. It's terrible, really. Like,
I know.
That means the euro would be about probably below 90. The pound would be probably at parity around there. That's just crazy.
I know. It's just I'm personally just afraid to even think in those terms. You know, it's just...
So we have to understand, like, why is the US dollar rallying? It's because it's the best out of a dirty basket, if that makes any sense, right? So it's the reserve currency, and obviously they're fairly aggressive with the tightening and the interest rates. So, you know, compared to all the other currencies, the US dollar is the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. I personally think we'd be higher here. So, but yeah, it's definitely a key level to watch.
I feel, you know, at the same time, at the minute, right, we can argue when did the bear market start. Did it start the minute we started seeing, you know, the sell-off from 69,000, or has it just been, you know, the last few months, whatever, 6 to 7 months? But I think it is so hard to guess and predict how long more this is going to last. But given the current, I mean, everything is hanging by the thread. I think if you aren't aware of, because I know a lot of people just don't want to follow the news. And myself personally, I don't watch everything I hear either. Because I feel there, obviously, like, fear is just there to be used against the people, and I don't, you know, I just feel, but at the same time, just kind of having the awareness that there isn't anything, I don't know what would have to happen right now, but we are all hearing about the energy crisis. We are all hearing about the price hikes. We are all hearing, you know, and we all know, going to simple grocery shopping, how inflated the prices are and how little. So,
it's crazy. I just literally came back from the shops. I bought like a dozen eggs, right? It was $10 Australian. That was, to me, like, so basically nearly $1 an egg.
Yeah. So like, to think that the worst is over and we're looking at reversals here would be an absolute, you know, I mean, I think you're very, very naive here. I think it's better to prepare for worse than hope that something is going to trigger the reversal and we're out the woods. I personally, it's just not there. It's the facts are just going against any bullishness in the market at the minute.
You know what would give us some relief right now? If because I'm hearing a few headlines out of Ukraine. They're starting to take back cities.
Okay.
So if we can see like a Russian withdrawal from Ukraine, that'd be, you know, that would definitely turn things around, at least short term anyway.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wouldn't necessarily think it is a return of the bull market. It would be possible short term reversal. Yeah, short term. Because I just feel like that bubble has to burst. It has to burst, and there's just too much. And I think there's a lot that people aren't even aware of, and we're not talking about. But let's not even go there, because it will sound like we're talking about Armageddon and the world ending.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So I like to be like level to level, day to day. Let's not, you know, freak out totally.